me know when you're ready.
We're ready.
Welcome back, everyone, to Lava Crows. When we last left off, let's see. Cassie and Kitlak dug their new crab car into the ground to rest for the evening, while Shay and Genevieve, I guess first they all got out of the Fail Run Mesa somewhere, and then started headed back to Mistmar. Genevieve and Shay returned to Mistmar to complete their quest. Uh, Genevieve got her bag of dirt and a few other fun details, while Shay was eyed up as fresh food.
Again.
Well, if you didn't look so tasty, anyways, you both opted to stay the night under a nice, softly luminous mushroom.
And under
Everyone had a
protection.
long and under protection. Everyone had a long rest and a level up, and well, you had 10 hours of protection. It's been about 9. Would you like to leave, Miss Mar? Would you like to shop anywhere? Make any deals? Or would you like to just head on out?
I think we probably should head out before our promise of protection runs out.
That's a good idea.
So we'll head out and she will shift again into something fast. Elk. Hold on, because I have new wild shapes, and I think there was one that was a little bit faster than that. While Genevieve was asleep, she reflected on some of the creatures she has seen and can now shift into some new creatures. And I think one of them is a warhorse, which has 60 movement speed. It's like a space horse.
All right. Shay, do you need help getting up on that horse?
I think last time Genevieve lowered herself so if I could get on easily.
Yeah, Genevieve would do that.
Any rope harness this time, or are you just gonna hang on with a hope and a prayer?
We're just gonna go.
All right. Shay, go ahead and make me a mm, just a strength athletics to hang on. And Genevieve, are you galloping or just standard? Uh,
Dashing.
uh
So
you're
I would
dashing. Okay, yeah.
so I would assume galloping.
Okay.
For
I mean,
You're galloping.
she had horns as a she had antlers as an elk. She still has something to grab onto.
Yeah. Genevieve lets you get on. She's trotting. She's trotting. She's trotting, and then zoom. Well, Genevieve's about 50 feet away from you, but you are wily coyoting about 5 feet above the ground. 10 feet? How tall is a warhorse?
It is a large beast.
Yeah, 10 feet above the ground. And then you hit the ground. Genevieve, your passenger has been left behind.
Genevieve will wicker. Is that the right word?
I think so.
Okay.
Winnie?
There's another word, not a whinny, but
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Nicker?
Say what?
Nick? Er?
Uh,
Got to
uh,
really enunciate that one, though.
she
Like
will
Nickelodeon.
she will turn around and trot back, hooves high, very gracefully.
Go ahead and roll me
Yeah.
a perception real quick. Since you're headed back, you'll see this.
Perception.
As a warhorse, this could be interesting. Or I guess you have your normal stats still for perception, right?
I believe so. It's a wisdom, so yeah, I think I keep my own perception. Is that in what is perception wisdom? Pff, it's the same. Doesn't matter, it's the same.
You're a druid and your wisdom's +1?
No, a warhorse's wisdom is a +4.
Its strength is +4, its wisdom is +1.
Not the one I'm looking at.
Anyways, what was that total?
Hold on. 8.
8? Okay. You see some of the centaurs just staring. You can't tell what they're thinking or what they're doing, but they are just kind of staring.
Malco disconnected.
I see that.
I still haven't seen that.
Genevieve will just kind of toss her head a little bit and then bend back down.
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to use the rope. Sorry. I always wanted to be a horse girl, but never actually was any good at it.
Or met a horse before.
She's been to enough planets. I think she's seen equine-ish things.
So how good does Shay do
I was gonna say,
tying the
roll
knot?
me a sleight of hand to get a nice, good harness set up. All the war horses I'm showing have either a +1 or a -1 for their wisdom. I think they all have +1. No, 20. Skeletons have -1, so all the living ones have only +1 on their wisdom.
12.
But your wisdom is +4, so if you're using your stats, that's probably what D&D Beyond plugged in.
I'm checking.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, for
it
wild
could
shape,
have.
you use your own mental stats.
So what was your total, Shay?
12.
12? You get a harness. It's probably fine.
Oh, yeah.
Better than your first attempt.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that D&D Beyond would just automatically change the wild shape.
It does. It is designed to try and make it as easy for you as possible.
Yeah, but it fails in that regard in a lot of things, so.
Yes. But we do like to push our limits, so to the average player, it's just right. So yeah, you get on the horse and let's try this again. Genevieve, you're gonna take off again?
Genevieve will start with a simple trot. Then she'll inch in, or she'll kind of ease into a canter, and then a gallop from there, and then she'll full on dash.
Right.
Give Shay some time to adjust to the bounce.
Go ahead and roll me another strength athletics, Shay.
Is it with advantage this time, perhaps?
It's a lower threshold.
8.
Um, well, you've succeeded in hanging on. You might technically be tied to uh, to her in a way that you're not going to be able to get out easily. And if she falls, that's going to hurt. But yeah, you're still on board, kinda, sorta.
Just kind of
Let's just check.
bouncing, tangled up in the in the rope.
Let's go ahead and have Genevieve check how well she does as a horse, rolling her strength athletics to gallop towards, well, where you're supposed to meet up.
Strength athletics. Oop, that's not the right one. Okay, let's see. That's going to be a 17.
Yep, fine. You don't trip over anything. You don't. Nothing tries to jump up and snap at you. At least nothing that you can't leap over and avoid easily enough. I am going to have Shay make one more roll. This one will just be a dexterity or constitution saving throw. Shay's choice.
X. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You only take 2. Uh, what would rope burn be? Bludgeoning, slashing? I guess technically slashing.
Fire.
You take your. Yeah, okay, I'll go with fire. You take 2 points of fire damage from rope burn on the ride there. As you approach, Kitlack has not risen the crab car from the ground. There is also a figure surrounded by smaller figures, kind of waiting at the edge of the hole.
Point of order. Kitlack is wasn't he like trying to arise it in different places so he wouldn't be predictable?
You had 10 hours of air, so you're going to take a long rest.
Oh, right. Yeah, so 10 hours of air means just sleep. Gotcha. Yeah,
Well, so what that means is 6 hours of sleep minimum, 2 hours of light activity, and you still have 2 hours to dink around with whatever you want.
Which for Kitlack, I think would probably take the form of him playing cards, like doing some sort of three dragon ante solitaire, or trying to make one up if he doesn't know one.
I mean, you did find that new pack of cards. It's not magical, but hey, it's
Mm-hmm.
cards. You got to
Yep.
learn how to cheat other cheaters.
Yep. So yeah, at the expiration of the time, I guess not really having any other reason not to, Kitlack will rise the crab car up out of the hole.
See, will you be playing Kitlack Three Dragon Ante to teach him how to outwit and outcheat, or at least play correctly?
Kitlack would love to do that.
I got disconnected again.
I got disconnected this time too.
Oh yeah, I see. All of you have
Yeah.
blue circles.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a Steam thing.
Man, it's not even my table.
Yep, there
It's
you all go.
entirely a Steam thing. So I was in the process of getting disconnected. Was that a question for
See, yes.
Kathy, or
Are you playing
yeah.
and or teaching Three Dragon Ante to Kitlack?
So she actually does not have Three Dragon Ante as a skill, so she might be learning.
Does Kitlack have Three Dragon Ante as a skill?
He's not proficient. That's kind of what he's trying to do right now is build proficiency.
All right, I'd like both of you to roll either int Wisdom
playing
or
against each other who
charisma?
don't know how to play the game.
Oh, there's lava
Either
crows.
that or playing Go Fish.
I was gonna say, int if you're trying to count cards, wisdom to just try and be clever, and charisma if you're just trying to bluff your way through the entire thing.
Int for counting cards with Kitlak. He's got a system.
Yeah, the room is back up. I restarted it.
Nat 1, baby!
Let's see what Cassie decides to do when they're back in the room. While everyone's loading in, I will step away just for a second to use the restroom.
What did he say the options were?
Either
counting
int,
cards and
wisdom,
weapons.
or charisma.
I guess int would make the most sense for her.
Alright, I'm back. Cassie, what are you rolling?
Alright, so the three options were int for counting cards, and what were the other two?
Wisdom
Wisdom
to try and
what?
outwit your opponent, and charisma to just bluff your way through the whole thing. Your choice.
Int makes the most sense for her, I think.
You're both trying to count the cards to figure this out.
14.
All right, so 14. You think you figured out the game. You're not quite sure you can count the cards perfectly because you still don't know what all the hands are. But you know that there are a certain number of dragons and a certain number of, let's see, what does 3 Dragon Ante use? I forget. Let's see.
Did she find the instructions in the box?
With a 16, yes.
Well, 14, but yeah.
14. With a 14, yeah. And it is in common. So yeah, you would be able to read it. Does it say anything about this? Nope. However, while you are figuring all that out, Kitlak has mastered the game
Yep.
of Go Fish.
Do you have any druids? No, okay. Do you have any red dragons? No, okay.
No, I can't really tell you that. That's not how the game is played.
Well, how else am I supposed to? Look, I ask, and then you tell me, right? Isn't that the idea? General premise?
Different game, I think. I'm still reading the instructions here, but that doesn't appear to be how it's played.
Wait, there are instructions?
You completely missed those.
What language are the instructions in?
They are in common.
No.
You just missed them, that's all.
Here. Why don't you read them over for a moment? I've got a little bit of tinkering to do anyways.
Could I call this the help action to figure out how to play 3 Dragon Ante?
You absolutely can, but with a nat 1, that is going to take the rest of your time.
That's fine. Oh, cool. I got in here and I can't
Um,
roll anything. Oh, God. Well, I guess I'm rolling a d8. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, Steam is having issues.
Yeah.
take the highest two of those. Wow, that wasn't even very good.
So,
There we
while
you go.
Bitlack is reading the instructions, Cassie is going to start tinkering. Basically the
Dirty
summoning
20.
ritual for her companion, for her familiar.
All right. So that takes you the rest of the time to. With the Dirty 20, you've read the rules. You may need to refer to them once or twice more, but you think you got Red Dragon. You think you've got the three Dragon Anti set rules down mostly.
All right.
You don't
Killack's
haven't
going
figured out
to.
how to cheat perfectly with it yet, but you think you know how to play now.
Fair enough. Kitlack is going to kind of play a couple theory crafted games where it's him against himself or what have, and just try and get the tempo down of it before shelving the cards away in his coat with the instructions and getting ready to bring the thing topside.
You do so. You hear a little kind of gear equivalent of a chirp, which is kind of weird, but Cassie's tinkering. It probably came from them.
Kitlack doesn't know machines really. Like, he's not an engine guy. He knows how to use machines, but not necessarily how to make machines. So he's not really going to pay much attention to it as long as the you know what, he's gonna try and actually insight that. Like, I feel like he would try and at least think about it. Oh yeah, and that one.
It is
We are rolling
absolutely
great today.
Cassie's happy sound.
All right, well,
You don't know why
whatever.
they're happy, but they're happy.
Cassie's making the yummy sound behind me. So Killock will keep on going as it were.
All right. You bring the crab car to the surface. Luck die. Tyler, you're driving. Evens or odds?
Evens.
It is evens. You surface facing a tall, shrouded figure with a bunch of smaller figures around them. And by smaller, they're, normal human size, not like your side.
Oh, well,
You can see them through the
do
window.
what amount of armaments do these individuals have?
They don't seem to have any. They are all covered in robes.
Cool. Kitlak will attempt to march around these individuals and just like go towards. He's like in a cave, right?
No, you burrowed underground and then you burrowed back up, and you can see Shay and Shay tied to a horse headed your way. So that's probably Genevieve, that or the
Or they
elves.
ran her out of town,
Yeah,
which
one
is
of the
equally
two.
possible.
Um,
um,
Genevieve
Kitlak
did
is
seem to
I
like
mean,
Miss Mark quite a bit.
depending on Kitlak's perception, Genevieve does have a mark on all of her wild shapes that's very obvious.
what kind of mark?
It's the upside down crescent moon with the three
Oh,
claw marks.
where's it situated? Is it like a cutie mark situation or?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends on her wild shape. When she shifted into the giant, what was it? Giant badger? It
Uh-huh.
was on her face, like her forehead. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of moves around depending on her wild shape.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, Kitlak is still going to just try to maneuver the grab car around the individuals and straight towards the horse situation.
Can absolutely do that. They don't seem to stop you. But go ahead and roll me your history. or insight. Either would work.
Well, let's see what Kitlack's got. Probably history. It's a 16.
16. You know, the tall one, they look kind of familiar. Almost like they look very similar to the one that visited you at the inn.
Oh yeah, that weirdo.
Yes, that weirdo.
Well, more reason for Kitlack to not be around them.
So the crab car is going to approach the horse that Shay is tied to. Also, you're running out of air. You should probably at some point stop and open at some point.
Yeah, Kitlack is going to turn it so the rear is towards the horse and all that, and then pop the door open so that they can re-air and, have whoever board in. I don't think we could fit a whole horse in here, Kitlack says.
Absolutely cannot.
Genevieve's just gonna whinny and then kind of look back at where Shay is hopelessly tied to her back.
Well, someone needs to solve this who's not me, because I don't want to.
Genevieve would like unshape shift, but then she'd probably just get just as tangled in the rope, and she's not willing to do that.
I suppose I could help.
Cassie is going to exit the vehicle for just a moment and go try to untie Shay.
And Genevieve will kneel down so that way Cassie can have better grip, better reach.
Hey, roll me just a quick perception check as you approach the horse.
That is an 18.
18. Warhorse is a new form, and you've never seen one that seems to have like inch-long little tendrils hanging from their chin. It's kind of interesting.
I would say that would surprise Cassie, except Cassie hasn't seen a number of the animals that Genevieve has shapeshifted into, so.
Yep, no, that's... They don't have whiskers, they have little, weird, inch-long tendrils as beards, maybe? Who knows? That is a horse. Now you know what a horse looks like. Absolutely normal. Would you cut the rope or try to untangle it?
Cassie is definitely going to try to untangle it, because if I recall correctly, that is Cassie's rope.
I believe you are correct. Make me a sleight of hand. While you're doing that, Genevieve, you can roll me.
Jeez, the
Wow.
roll today.
Okay. Before I resolve that, we'll have Genevieve and Shay roll me perception. Kitlack, you can do it with disadvantage.
It's going to end up doing this twice to me because it's free. It just froze up.
Yeah, it's give me some issue too. So that's my first disadvantage die. There you go. That is a 13 for Kitlack. He is going to use his tactical mind to add 1d10 to it. So a 15 for Kitlack. Is that successful or no?
Is not.
That's an
Okay, then
8.
he doesn't use it up.
And Shay, are you reconnected?
I think so.
Did you roll your perception?
Nah, she's tangled up.
Oh, you're just not going to? Okay. Um, yeah, no, none of you notice. That's okay because and Cassie, you really don't notice because you have tried to untangle the knots, and why are they going into your wiring ports? How are they going into your wiring ports? This is a problem. You need help. You can try to untangle them again with disadvantage, or you could call for help.
I didn't know you could do that. That's helpful.
Not quite sure how that happened. Um, Cinder, Cinder, come over here. I could use your help.
Going to be
And
a little
those of you,
hiss steam.
sorry, could you say that again?
Just a little hiss of steam. It's still adjusting.
Yep. For those that aren't Kitlack, this is the first time that you're going to see Cinder, who is the little pseudo dragon construct that Cassie was working on during
Aw.
her long rest. If you want a closer look, I do have it up over by my larger character model over there.
I've got to stop dropping my d20s.
And it's going to give a little chirp of acknowledgement. Um, Probably sounding a lot like the chirp from earlier, but not quite the same. Cassie didn't even hear that. And
That is a cool
Cinder is going
model.
to use the help action if that is okay.
That is fine. Give you a straight roll. And that is such a cool model. Everyone, I would recommend, please go check out the large one. It looks awesome. Assuming Steam lets you.
Yeah, ignore that roll. That was a lag thing. Alright, here's the actual single
Oh,
roll.
that's really cute. Look at him.
Alright, so that is a 15.
15, you untangle your rope from the ports and you untangle Shay from the rope. Not easily. It takes a good 2-3 minutes, even with Cinder's help. But you untangle them enough that Shay, you can get off the horse now.
And thank you for saying so, Tyler. I worked with that model.
Yeah, wow. Is it from scratch completely?
Not completely. I did find the basically flying raptor model. Somebody had used that to create a dragon, and I overhauled it, got rid of the wings, added mechanical wings, and added a whole bunch of little attachments on it.
Oh, the horns are amazing. I love them. Meet our new Friday night boss battle. Too adorable to kill.
If you want to use that for any reason, feel free.
So, anyways, yes, Shay, are you getting off the horse? Are you now one with the rope and the horse, and you are never moving?
Sure.
And Genevieve, are you going to shift back?
As soon as the rope is off, yes.
All right. Yeah, the rope is off. You shift back. You kind of shake yourself because that was a little awkward. And I'm just going to give it to you because I assume you're all going to head into the crab car, right?
Absolutely.
Right between you and the crab car, because there was still about 10 feet of space, is the tall shrouded figure, just watching you.
Oh, yes, that.
All done, are we?
Seems that way. What's
Can
your
we
deal?
help you?
You're still at the pilot seat, Tyler.
Oh
you
no.
missed.
No. Kitlack got out to like invite people in, and he saw the whole horse situation.
Ah,
Um,
okay. Sorry, I thought you were still in there, just facing the other way. Um, then you wouldn't have had
but
disadvantage on that perception check. I am sorry, but
can I roll it again? I'd like
eh,
that.
I will tell you right now, he got a nat 20 for that move, so I don't think he could.
I'd still like to do one more try.
Very well.
All right. Come on. Give me that at 20. Come on. Just give me a die.
Yeah, seriously, come on. Try a different dice roller.
I don't think that's going to help, but I'll do what I can.
To
Oh,
me,
well, I'll take
this
whatever
is
you're rolling then, assuming it's a nat 20. Nope. Then it's got to be me. Oh, God.
you do not have the lucky feat. You are not getting any
I
of
don't. I
those.
got a nat 20. All right, this one's for reals. Okay, bummer.
All right. Yeah, you did not see or hear him move. I should say it move because you
Hmm.
don't know what gender they are. They're just tall and wrapped in a giant robe, and you you seem to have problems riding animals. There are such things as saddles.
Nobody's putting a saddle on me.
Fair, fair. They're kind of tapping their fingers together in that kind of patient, kind of impatient way. And so I'd like to talk.
Yes, about how you brainwashed a whole inn full of kobolds. That was a horrifying trick.
Is that how they did it? No, that wasn't me. That was someone else in the circle.
Ugh.
As you can see, and you see kind of the shorter clothed people come out of from the sides of the crab car. I take care of those who need care. Unfortunately, without our relic, it's problematic. And you, unfortunately, have let that fall into the hands of a selfish member of our circle. I would like you to get it back.
A selfish member of your circle. Is this the one with the kobolds?
Oh, look what he did just to get our relic.
I assume that's what any of you would do.
I do not need to take control. Everyone here is here of their free will. Isn't that right? And you just hear all of them say, "Yes, Father."
Yeah, see, that right there, that's weird. That's not a normal thing you're doing. That's a weird thing you're doing.
Oh, would you prefer a different word? Call me boss. Yes, boss.
See, no, still weird, still weird. I mean, on the scale from like daddy to friend, it's closer to the friend side of the spectrum, but like seriously, no. Look,
I'm not asking
I have
you to
no
join.
proof that you're not mind controlling these guys. Literally, like what do I have to go on? Why should I care about what you have to say?
Well, they did mind control all of those kobolds. That seems to have offended you. I would never stoop to such a level.
And I only have your word to go off of there. I don't really necessarily think that's trustworthy yet.
Well, what would be trustworthy?
Well, why don't you start with telling me what the Circle's deal is in general? Why this rogue agent is my concern and not your concern?
Oh,
Why
they
why
are
can't you
my
handle
concern.
why can't you handle them yourself?
They are hidden within the plateau. They have made themselves hidden within the plateau. And while it is not unusual for us to visit each other's home, I fear he has poisoned the guard against the rest of us. As to the
Oh.
circle, we are merely those interested in keeping our independence and our power. This asteroid allows us to remain safe from those who would eat you all. Well,
Eat us all?
they glance at Shay. Maybe not all of you. Then they glance at Genevieve. And you see their eyes kind of flash yellow for a bit. Just a moment. Yes, some of you are seen as snacks to others. We did not agree with that. Did you hear that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As for what the circle can do for you, I happen to know who owns the vault in the plateau. I can simply let them know that you have found their lost property. I'm sure they would reward you.
Um team conference in the grab car. This way. Kid like is going to motion inside the crab car and just kind of like scramble in there.
Yeah, you can go around him easily.
No,
You do
no, no,
know.
no, no. Like that's not what we're saying. I was saying like I wanted to talk to the team alone in the crab car.
Oh yeah, no, he's not in the crab car. He's just standing in front of the door to the crab car. You can get around him easily.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay, got you. Yeah, no, going around him. Just
That
just
being
one
said,
second.
you look out the windows, you see that all the people that emerge from the shadow of the crab car, yeah, they have created a circle. You are going to have to run over some if you want to escape from that circle.
Well, that is a problem for those of us that think in two dimensions. Um, Kitlek is going to bring everyone into the crab car. Assuming that everyone goes in, does anyone not go into the crab car?
Nope, Genevieve already had a foot inside.
Cool, cool. All right.
Cinder is going to climb onto Cassie's shoulder, and then Cassie will climb into the crab car.
Kobold is going, or not the kobold, sorry, the robed tall individual is going to glance at Cassie and tilt their head ever so slightly.
As soon as the last person's in the crab car, Kitlak will close the rear door and say, "Well, what the fuck? What is this individual's deal? What should we care about this?"
I'm inclined not to care. I've got what
I
I
would
came
agree.
for.
I would agree. However, that was a not very veiled threat that they just made to us about your crab car.
Look, if we can get out of here sooner rather than later, and by out of here I mean perhaps on a spelljammer, then it might behoove us to ignore this and proceed on.
Quick
Well,
reminder, Genevieve, you don't want to get off this asteroid just yet. You know where the dirt's from.
Yeah, was it the Roaring Hollow? No.
It
Was
was.
it? Yeah.
Well, if we sell this thing, we can buy the one that I can pilot.
You know, that might not be a bad plan. Do you know if we have a buyer anywhere?
The only buyer. They have the Spelljammer that I that I came here on.
There's really no other spelljammers in that one.
But I have the pilot's helmet for it already.
Is that a requirement for a spelljammer?
Yes.
Well,
Well, you go ahead.
well, with all this going on, haven't got a chance to tell you, but we made good with the people in Mistmar. In fact, Becky was very, very forthcoming about where this dirt came from, and it's not Mistmar. I'd rather
Is that what
not
the two of
deal,
you were talking about?
among other things. I'd rather not deal with the one out there. We've got other job prospects, I think.
I mean, if we're looking for magical dirt, we're looking for a Spelljammer. We're just looking for to get rich. Not sure what everyone's motives are, but I want enough gold to buy that Spelljammer that I came here on. And then we can explore to our heart's content or go treasure hunting.
Well, one of my concerns with this guy, though, is that he seems intent on following us.
Well, how's he possibly going to follow us?
That is a good question, but he did find us way out here.
It's a good point.
I mean, you were buried, weren't you?
I was indeed. Well, my vote is still avoiding this individual and selling Crabcar, tragically, and using it to buy Spelljammer. Spelljammer can fly, which is for our benefit. We get to be outside of the range, the reachable range of this individual, perhaps. Also, it's a Spelljammer. It can go a lot more places than Crabcar can. Can't burrow, though, but Kit like shrugs.
Can a spelljammer
Yes.
only fly outside the asteroid, or can it fly like at ground level? Ground level too.
How big is her Spelljammer?
Most spelljammers, this asteroid has spelljammers that actually fly and make runs all over it. The smaller ones can definitely get close to the ground. The larger ones sometimes have trouble with it.
Yeah, I might be able to go from major port to major port, but I wouldn't be exploring the asteroid too well with it.
Yours is one of those where you could be about 20 feet off the ground of the asteroid,
So it's like,
but
How
you probably want to avoid like the shadow spires, the jagged mesa.
how big is it?
is it
How big?
like, is it like Millennium Falcon big?
Not quite that big, no. Give me a second here. Ironically enough, other research I did this weekend will help on figuring this out.
Firefly big?
Slightly bigger than Firefly big, but not by much. I believe someone asked for a hammerhead, as I recall. Is that right?
A hammerhead?
No? Someone asked for a specific spelljammer. Um, how
I
big?
was joking about a firefly.
Oh, a firefly. Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's not hammerhead big. Which one am I thinking? Is it? Yeah, it's more of a flying fish size. So that is, ooh, 120 feet long, 30 feet wide. Typically has a crew of 10.
Does it have any stealth capabilities?
Yours, you would know this. Up to you to share it. Yours is sort of an experimental model, which is one reason the Drow were willing to bring it in, because they were willing to repair it, and they also got to learn what some of those experiments were. So yours doesn't have stealth capabilities, but it does come with some additional benefits, assuming they haven't been stripped from the ship, of course. Would you like to remember and explore that, or not?
I think her main goal is just to get the spelljammer first, and then worry about everything else later.
It is a flying fish ship.
That means nothing to me. Sort of, you know.
Well, either way, I guess we'll have to head back somewhere to sell this uh, contraption.
Politely refuse this guy.
I think you're the best one out of all of us at talking, Shay.
Really? All right. Kit like shrugs.
Well, don't look at me. I'm a terrible talker. And you need
Oh,
to
well.
drive this thing, Kitlack, because if he
Just
doesn't take kindly to our refusal, we need to get going in a hurry.
she will. Could you open the back port?
Kit like will open the back port.
He's standing there. He's now, I'd say he. They're standing there. They're facing inward so they can look at you and have a fun conversation.
We did. All my compatriots and I are usually looking for work. I think at this point we've got our hands full. Um,
But it is your responsibility. You found and then lost what belongs to me.
it sounds like your responsibility.
Oh, I think my responsibility would include informing my ever so faithful vault friend that someone has found and kept their prized stolen possession.
Ah, see. Now that is what I was expecting. Oh, you'll stoop to blackmail, will you? Well,
I
nothing
am
wrong with
merely
a little bit of control.
I am merely letting my friend know they have
What?
been very faithful for all the centuries we've been here.
This is a lot of rumor. I Are you even sure this item is real?
The item you're in, the item that's solid, the item that I am currently preventing from moving underground. Yes, it's very real.
Insight check.
About what specifically?
If he's actually keeping it from moving underground. 18.
18? He is very fairly certain that you will not be able to go underground with this machine.
Well, the problem is, if we did want to escape, going underground is the non-violent option. It is not the only option, it's just the non-violent one. I don't want there to be any violence, and I would simply ask either for you to allow us to go underground or to have your minions disperse so that I don't have to claw two of them and take them hostage and retreat with them.
No, 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 no. It seems like you have skills of your own. Why would you need a random crew of nobodies to go fetch your thing, which you seem to be more capable of doing than we can?
Well, for one, just as I am capable of many things, so are others of our circle, even those who have deviated from the faith.
Seems to be
Two,
more of a reason you should do it.
Yeah.
it's rude to accuse my associates of being minions. Only the ones who fetch the coffee are called minions.
Yes, the yes father thing did not have a minion vibe. No, you got that there. Yep.
They have full faith in our belief and in the reward coming.
I don't know what that means, but still, you haven't convinced me that you actually need us to do anything. For all
You
we
are
know,
a
you're
lot
just going to
more
watch us
subtle.
do the thing just so you can laugh and say that you didn't do it or something like that.
You are more subtle than I am.
Uh, We're in a
No.
giant crab car.
And
I'm
you found
pretty
us in the middle
sure.
of nowhere. You're way more
Yeah.
subtle than we are.
You had this whole sneaking thing where you appeared right in the midst of us without us knowing. That screams subtlety.
Look, if you
They
don't want to
also
do it,
won't,
just say so.
they also won't expect you. They have outwitted you. They figure you will have forgotten all about it and will not see you coming at all.
Wait a minute. No, they won't expect us. They outwitted us, and then they think that they're going to get away scot free, and we're not going to be mad and chase them down. That's kind of contrary to its own statement. Like, they'll expect us because they expected that they wronged us. The fact that we
No,
don't care is more notable than caring.
you are kobolds. Well, you and
There's like one
there's going to
kobold
be a
here.
there's a pause. Cassie.
People
Yes,
keep supposing that I am a kobold as if that means something. I was raised among smugglers, thank you very much. That means far more than being a kobold ever has. And now it's just being insulting.
How about a compromise?
I am always open to listening to compromises. It's how
We
the circle has worked for so long.
we pretend to look for your artifact and stir up a bunch of gossip about us looking for it, and that will draw attention away from you to be more subtle to go find it.
That actually sounds like a great plan.
There is one unfortunate flaw. As much as I would love to go in and get it myself, the reason I am not subtle to others of my circle is we can sense each other once we're were within range.
What about those guys?
Yeah, send your coffee minions. Look, getting coffee can't be their only employable skill.
Oh
If it
no,
is, they need to learn more.
we have architects, ship designers, uh, valued cooks. We have many skilled people here.
Have you never
Then
heard
use
of?
them.
Yeah, have you never heard of the Zorg Rush?
Yes, the Zorg from Planet Shore. Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it could
It's
put them in harm's way, and I would never wish to place them in a position where they could be harmed, even by one of our own circle. They are valuable.
And
They
we are
have
not.
long, extensive lives that are beautiful and need to be remembered and preserved. And you are, with the exception of Cassie, I think you are a 50-year lifespan? Less than a century?
yeah. So
Wait,
why are you hindering us? We need to get about living.
it's a good point. If
You could
anything,
live better with more money.
they'll spend less of their lifespan doing what they're doing than we will. It seems to be philosophically better suited for them. Further, if you're so concerned with their going on living, I don't know why you've put them in harm's way right now.
Oh
I
no!
never said
Now
they
you've
wouldn't
done
part.
it. Now he's getting out his gun.
I'm not getting out the gun. I'm simply like presses the claw lever to deploy the claws, not the attack lever. Mind the claw lever. Uh, there's other more refined weapons at our disposal.
How about a different compromise? One that doesn't even require much work on your part.
Well, we can of course listen to a compromise.
You seem to know the less reputable parts of this asteroid and those in the plateau. Why don't you contract a legendary thief for me, and they can fetch the skull, and you can be paid as middlemen?
Ooh, that sounds lovely. One problem,
Isn't
will
that
you
what you're trying
be
to do right now?
giving
Just,
us
Yes, I'm
just
resources?
adding a step.
go, just go find someone else.
Don't you have minions for that? Coffee
I mean,
minions?
yes, you've got so many minions.
Sounds like
You were,
typical middle management to me.
you're, you're not very good at
Yes.
whatever it is you're trying to do, are you?
My job is to preserve their lives so that they can be
Oh,
enriched.
your management.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's a fairly useful read, Shay. I know the type, now that you mention it. Never willing to get their hands dirty. They always value their loyal sycophants, and not a hair on any yes-man's head may be damaged. Yes, I know the type. Corpos, I like to call them.
Oh, the hands get bloody at least once every 3 centuries. We're coming up on that. But without
Oh,
the
how
skull, it will
delightful.
be quite the bloodbath. And those that are more harmful than myself in our circle may come as a result.
Well, we have conditions for our shortened lifespan. Thanks to Cassie.
Maybe an insight check.
Cassie is not gonna say anything, but she's certainly thinking things right now.
Roll me your deception, Shay. Ah, shoot. I'll be right back. Sorry, dog had to go out. I will have to leave again when she comes back in. Anyways, what did you get, Shay?
19.
You see the eyes kind of flash another yellow at you. I'm tempted to test that.
Is
Very tempted.
just out of curiosity, is the elder creature in me reacting to this creature in any way, shape, or form?
Um,
The remnant.
roll me an insight.
Insight. Okay, hold on.
You cannot be done already. You were so insistent.
Nope, that's only a 6.
What elder thing inside you?
Yeah, what?
However, I respect Cassie's maker a little too much to make them rebuild her yet again. And I have a feeling if I tested it on one of you, she would feel honor bound to jump in the fray, so to speak.
Quite true.
And you are a valuable commodity. Best to leave it. Well, if you don't want the job, either of them, I'm sure there's nothing I can do to change your mind at this point. And the crowd around the crab car will just kind of part so that they're to either side so you could walk forward. Good luck at the plateau. I'm sure we'll meet eventually.
Well, that was fun.
Delightful. Shall we be going then?
Yeah, I'm
He doesn't
wondering.
answer. He's just watching you now.
Oh, he didn't. He didn't leave. Okay, just
All
sitting
right.
there.
The people have parted so that you could move the crab car forward.
Kitlack will retract the claws in a show of good faith. And kind of
Pile in.
gesture everyone inside. Yeah. Gonna close the latch and then forward march.
Just before the latch closes, I would like everyone to make me a quick wisdom saving throw. Genevieve, yours is with disadvantage.
Wisdom
Except that
saving
I have
throw.
advantage with the Mind Carapace armor.
The 19.
So it's a
22.
straight roll.
Actually, in this case,
Oh,
with
God
the
dang it.
with the carapace, it does not give you advantage. It does give you disadvantage.
Is this against magic?
This is a loophole within the armor that you're unaware of.
Yeah, but I have 2 different things that are giving me
Then
advantage.
yes, it is against magic. Yes.
Okay, so it's a straight roll then.
19, and just for laughs, I'm going to use Tactical Mind to get that D10 as soon as it lets me. Oh no, it's got to be an ability check. Never mind. So that's a 19.
Also a 19.
So we got 4 19s then.
22.
Let me take a look.
Okay, 3 19s and a 22 then.
Yeah. Nope. You guys are actually all fine. Congrats.
Hooray.
So, where are
And
you headed?
to sell this thing at the used Spelljammer dealer.
Well, let's see. The Crimson Plateau is where the vault is. Your best bet is to get back around this pillar to go up the path to Walk's End and enter that way. You could also head to the Roaring Hollow. You could go to Great Mine. If you want to go to where the Spelljammer is, that's Sulatar Tower. All of which are a long way away. Like the time to get to Walk's End and to Great Mine are about equal, and that's at least a week, maybe more, depending on if you run into anything.
I'm tempted to not go to the plateau just because he said we. He kind of expects us to go there. This is if she says that if we're inside and not
Yeah,
the
you're all
dude
inside
isn't
now.
there.
Uh, if you'd like to go to a true neutral party, there's always the Fallen's Forge. It's the longest way away, but no one would dare try to arrest you there.
I suppose it depends on where we'd get the best deal outside of the Crimson Plateau.
Uh, Everyone roll me an insight or a history to figure that out. I'm going to go close the door before we get a random animal in here.
Come on. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Believe in you.
That is a negative.
Oops.
I can
I'm
smell a rotten
rolling
job.
I am rolling 2 right now. Let me re-roll that.
That was not a job we wanted to take.
No. A lot of red flags. In fact, the whole thing was made out of red flags. Gosh darn it. I can
Well-
never use
That's fine.
tactical mind well.
16.
Okay.
I got a 17, and you got to tell me if I succeeded on history.
On history, okay, that's a success.
Cool.
How about anyone
That
else?
is an 8 history for Cassie.
Yeah, 8 inside for Shay.
All right, Cassie and Shay. Most of your contacts are in the Crimson Plateau itself. Shay, you have more informants across the way. The only other place you could sell it is Sulatar Tower. But you also know that the Drow may rob you blind, literally.
Yeah,
Genevieve.
I don't think she would go there to sell it anyway. Even if she could.
Genevieve with a 16 history or insight.
Insight.
With an insight, well, you actually know old Becky would probably buy this off you. What that would be in exchange for, it might not be cash, but it might be something more easy to move, so to speak. You would also know, though, uh, there is actually a sect of druids here. You aren't too interested on them. They're not interested in making things grow. They're more survivalist druids, surviving within the harsh conditions. They have no interest in your plans whatsoever. And they're a little cuckoo. But they also are looking for treasures to make money because they're survivalists and even they need to buy supplies, and money is difficult for them. Uh,
And where are they located?
they have a few enclaves, but ironically enough, they do have one near the Roaring Hollow behind the Shadow Spires. The greater danger is that there are some, what are they called? The salamanders, that's it. That are sometimes cannibalistic, sometimes not. Hard to tell. Um, there's also the question of if they'd have the money or if it would be just a giant IOU. And then Kitlack, with a 17, the first thought comes to mind is Sukkah is right there at Great Mine. They don't have that sort of money, but they have connections within connections, and they don't like Rivis Hold, but they know the right people to talk to the right people to get those arrogant elves to cough up money. Um, it wouldn't be pleasant, but you could do it. There is also, surprisingly enough, with a 17, roll me, roll me just a general and roll me a luck die. It's you get to roll the luck die, and call out evens or odds.
Well, we might be waiting for a minute here. It's going to be evens when it rolls, but
Okay.
I'm just clicking. I'm clicking. Gotta have one of these days. There we go. Evens. There you go.
If you approach the kobolds, they might be willing to exchange quite a bit. Now, granted, some of them may realize, well, no, they wouldn't realize what had happened. So, yeah, you could bilk even more coin out of the kobolds. Either at the plateau, you know who to contact outside of it, or at Great Mine, or you actually know that they do have, surprisingly enough, their own inn at Sulatar Tower as well.
So, couple options come to mind. Suka in Great Mind might be a person to talk to. You know, she of the violent disagreements about lava crows. She is very resourceful, however, and can certainly find us some inns with Rivishold that the elves there that might procure us the most amount of coin. In a contrary path, we could find kobolds just about anywhere on this rock, and the kobolds would likely be able to scrounge up enough to pay us for this thing as well.
Why didn't I think of that? That does make sense.
Yeah, the first thing that came to your
Can
mind,
do
Cassie, was
love
your
to.
boss. I will say that.
Mm,
Yeah, Arkin do love to dig, don't they?
I would
they
prefer
do
straight
indeed.
cash.
Well, if we're looking for straight cash, I can imagine that Rivishold and Suka might be our best bet. The kobolds could get us quite a ways, though. I think in terms of being able to barter and perhaps even barter our way into a spelljammer, the kobolds might have a lot of latitude. However, if it's cash we want, Rivishold seems to be the best bet.
Is Rivershold where we sort of, kind of, is that where the elves were from that we kind of sort of.
A lot of it, yeah.
It was colony here. Rivishold claims colony is part of their territory. Colony very much disagrees.
Mm,
Yeah, but we had some dealings with elves in the very first
Yes,
episode. Were they
yes, you
from.
did, and they were from Rivishold. Yes, the Astral Elves have a are the Astral Elves are from Rivis. Their homeworld
Yeah.
is gone, and so they have Rivis Hold. They're holding it for their world's return.
Genevieve will just look at the others and say, as nice as it would be to get straight cash for this, I'm not so sure about dealing with Rivershold, especially if they figure out what we did.
I don't think they really care about what we did. Like
What do we do?
as long as they had someone to blame for what occurred, I don't think it really mattered if it was the correct person or not. You know, we were supposed to turn you over to them, Shay, and we decided not to do that
And
and to
we
instead gussy up a goblin and send him over in your stead.
and we cheated them. Do you
By
never
the way,
remember
are you
about the
still standing there, or are you walking the crab somewhere?
Oh no, Kilek has been piloting the crab forward this entire time.
Got it. Just checking.
Yeah, like just away from Mistmar generally.
Do you not remember about the crown that was supposed to explode?
Oh yeah, I mean we've done a few things. I wasn't sure which one you were talking about.
Well, if the crown exploded, then that would be the end of those particular elves, yes?
Well, yeah,
Elves tend to
Cash or
have
the
elves tend to have family, and the family may
Yes.
not like the elves, but I know a thing or two about elves. And the elves I knew, they were very about honor.
Hmm. Well, the funny thing about honor is it really narrows your worldview and allows a lot of things to happen outside the scope of what you see.
Any of you can roll
I
insight if you'd like, by the way, on that.
I I truly love dealing with folks who have a sense of honor because they do not expect one to be dishonorable.
well the Drow are technically elves, right? And they're
Someday I'll be
It's
able to
they're
roll
they're
insight.
they're
oh,
kind of their
oh,
own thing. That's an 8, and Kitlak will use his other tactical mind on that. That's a insight. That's going to be a 15 for Kitlak, and tell me if it succeeds or not.
Roll 16.
16.
That'll be enough.
Okay.
Insight, that's a 15. 1 5.
And Shay?
16.
And Cassie, are you rolling insight or not?
I suppose I can.
Let's see if that helps Tyler. It might not, but I want to give it a try.
19.
Yeah, all of you can figure out that honor isn't quite what these astral elves hold. It's more if someone sets off a bomb that kills their family. Um, it's not honor that will set them to hunt them down. It's the fact that that makes them look weak, and they cannot abide by that. Whoever did that must be made an example of and humiliated before being executed. So if they figure out that you're in any way, shape, or form associated with any sort of bomb or sabotage or, you know, deceiving them with a goblin, um, it wouldn't end well for you, shall we say.
It's mob honor.
Yeah, basically, that is kind of what they are. You know, you don't want to go to the Citadel of Promise. You know they'll just enslave you there. But the Sulatar Tower, the Drow there, they negotiate, they bargain. You know they're going to stab you in the back, but they will smile and let you know it's going to happen. You just don't know when.
I just if we're gonna buy the Spelljammer from those the Drow at the Soltar Tower, then I don't want to let them know how much coin we actually have because they'll just increase the price.
It's probably going to be the least of what the Drow will do. However, if we do want to make a more local transaction, the kobolds of Sulatar Tower have an inn and possibly enough connection to get us in with the Spelljammer.
Say that last part again.
To get us in with the Spelljammer.
What do you mean by that? The Drow
I
are
mean,
pretty secretive about the. They might not even know. Would the kobolds know that the Drow have a Spelljammer? That they're
Sulatar Tower is
reverse
literally a
engineering?
Spelljammer tower and Spelljammer dock, dry
Okay.
dock. Like it is the only other big one after the Crimson Plateau. Rivis Hold is supposed to have one, possibly, but they've never seemed to produce any ships, so not really. Colony has a Spelljammer tower, but it's Colony. It's you go there when you're desperate, and they're not very organized. Um, those are kind of the two. Only Crimson Plateau and Sultar Tower are really the only two Spelljammer towers. The Fallens, who knows if the Fallen has anything there? Those who have gone and returned have not spoken of any tower or any ships. But they would never say a word against the Fallen.
Do we trust the? Let me finish first. Do we trust the kobolds, knowing what we know about these shadowy figures and how they can manipulate them?
Well, now that we know what to look for when the shadowy figures manipulate the kobolds, I think that we can trust the kobolds pretty well. If they all start acting like a hive mind, that's a pretty clear indication that we shouldn't trust the kobolds and
They
probably depart post haste.
they always kind of act like a hive mind.
First of all, that's something that I can say, not you. Rude. Second of all, no, it's a bit different.
I lied. There is a third Spelljammer tower, and that is at the Roaring Hollow, but it is a dock and leave only. It is not open to the public, so to speak.
Well, the other thing to consider is wherever we sell this crab car, we're going to need to be pretty close to where we want to buy the Spelljammer. Unless you all want to be walking in the barrens on foot for days.
That's a very good point.
So we can check with these kobolds that Kitlack is aware of, see if they can find a way to get rid of the crab car and then go from there.
Sounds like a plan.
So just going, just thinking one more step forward. Are you expecting me to purchase with my share of purchasing the Spelljammer all by myself, or I'm perfectly willing to everyone to purchase equal shares of the Spelljammer and share ownership of it.
I would imagine
But
that would be the case.
but I would insist on piloting.
Well, you'll get no argument from me. I know nothing about Spelljammers.
I'm willing to pitch in more because of that, but I mean it's
Do
already
you know
it's
how to pilot a spelljammer?
yes, I've piloted that Spelljammer. I have the helmet.
Very well. Kidlack says, I will not argue.
How much I'm kind of unsure at how much having um, the helmet and having piloted the Spelljammer actually, how much of an advantage does that give me over just buying a random Spelljammer and trying to go from there?
So, is that's to me, right? Just to check.
Yes, that's out of character. Yeah.
Um. So what you know as a Spelljammer pilot, um, there are some Spelljammers that anyone can pilot, and then there are some Spelljammers if you're the wrong species, it's bad. For the most part, if you buy the Spelljammer and buy the Spelljammer helmet, you're all set. Now, the trick is, especially in places like this, the Spelljammer helmet is a separate price from the Spelljammer itself. They do that deliberately because one is technically a magical item, one is not, and they can absolutely bleed you dry because without one, you can't really successfully pilot the other. You having the helmet, I won't say that it cuts your costs in half because those drow are absolutely going to gouge you, possibly literally, but by having the helmet, one, you are already attuned to it, so you could fly as soon as you get it out of dock. But two, you don't have to then pay the price for another helmet, which starts at 10,000 for a basic model. 10,000 or 5,000? Actually, let me double check that.
Now, Cassie has not repaired that helmet yet, has she?
Now you do have a broken
That's
one,
that's
yes.
a different one.
Yes, that is just a broken.
Shay has her own one already that she started the campaign with.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let's see. Do we have a price here?
Do you need those helmets only to pilot, or do you need them to do other things on the Spelljammer as well? Like weapons?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Um,
It is
yes.
to get Kitlack on board, potentially Cassie. It is an experimental uh, design, and so it's got a little bit more bells and whistles than your normal Spelljammer would have.
So I know that Cassie is not proficient with spelljammers. Does she have what kind of knowledge does she have about them?
Roll me your. Hmm, I guess that would be another history as well.
Sorry, I cut
Artificer's
you off,
tools would be
Cypher.
allowed. Your choice. I will be right back.
Ooh.
Very little, it would appear.
I'm back. Was that a 2 I
It would
saw?
appear she knows very little. Yep.
You know you can probably fix the Spelljammer helmet, or at least tinker with it. You're not sure what'll come out the other side. So yeah, it for a basic, technically a basic Spelljammer
Oh,
helmet is supposed to cost 100,000 gold, which no. But yeah, they are
no,
pricey.
no, 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 no. She was trying to answer the question
Oh,
about if a
um,
second spelljammer helm was needed to do other stuff.
what was your total? 2 plus
Would that would be you said history, but that's not what I was going for.
or
So
artificer's tools?
what would the oh Tinker's tools?
Tinker's tools, yeah.
And that was what did we decide that was? That was
Int.
Dex plus
Int
int.
To
plus
you to
Oh,
proficiency
int.
use is Dex, but if you're trying to think, I'd say int.
plus
Okay.
proficiency.
So that's a +7.
Okay, so
So that's a
9.
9 total.
You know that they're needed to successfully pilot spelljammers. Without a helmet, you can pilot. You're just the odds of crashing are increased by a whole lot. Whether they can do other things, you don't really know. You're not designed for spelljamming. At least you don't think you are yet.
Would
Maybe
Shay
that's an
know?
upgrade you can consider.
Would Shay know just about her ship?
Oh yeah, you would absolutely know some about your ship. Your parent, remember, you were young when they taught you, so you don't know
Mhm.
everything, but you do know a couple things. One of the rare features of your ship, for instance, is that they attempted to create mechanical repairs so that um, it wouldn't cost as much to fix a ship as it could heal damage in its own through, just mechanical devices. Um, it's not something that necessarily requires conscious thought, but it works better when there is someone in the Spelljammer helmet. It didn't work after the attack because that entire system was damaged, um, which is why, you know, the Drow were more than happy to help take it apart and fix it. You do know that, in addition, if you give up with your ship, there is some weapon access, but that was restricted by your parents. You'd have to get the ship back and study it again to figure out how that interacts with your Spelljammer helmet. But you know it's there because it was sort of like oh, this is a walled off file. I don't have the password.
And we
But
called
your
her
helmet is a little
Voyager.
unique, basically.
So yeah, that's. I mean, I've got selfish reasons, of course, for wanting to get that Spelljammer, but it's got some extra stuff.
I mean, I'm sold.
So then we'll go to the Solitars. The is that the jagged mesa where this, or is that
North of
not?
the Jagged
Okay,
Mesa. It's
Yeah, it's its own mesa. Yeah, the
gotcha.
kobolds on Solitar Tower, and then we go by the spelljammer back from the drow.
now with the crab car, going by land, stopping for 15 minutes every 3 hours. Um, that is a good couple, maybe 3 weeks of travel,
So we need a
just as it is
spelljammer.
now.
We need to rent a spelljammer that's big enough to take the crab car and fly
Or
stuff.
find a way to teleport, yes.
Or just
And you,
find somebody that's willing to transport us. That's kind of how we got to Mismar.
yeah,
Yep.
that dude that just dropped us, like literally dropped us off. Was it that ship big enough? No, it wasn't, because we were all crammed in the back, weren't
No,
we?
it was not big enough. Crimson Plateau, of course, would have some. And ironically enough, even though it's not an open port, it's known that the ships that do dock at the Roaring Hollow are rather large. Um, there is also, if you want to risk it, Mistmar. It's rumored, and Genevieve, you would know this, um, that they might have some sort of teleportation capabilities. And then there's always Great Mine. You can try and find a taxi there, but you're just as likely to be stabbed and stolen um, if you go there. And then there's always the crazy option. If anyone would like to roll, oh, who would roll this?
I love crazy.
Yeah, I think everyone but Shay would probably roll. Let's do insight or give me another roll for insanity.
Are we
And
talking crazy or outside the box?
Outside the box of normal thinking.
And
Okay, so
choose something and sell me on why you're rolling that thing.
Yeah, but it's also not something I think Shay would think of.
That's fair.
I would say Arcana for Kitlack, because Arcana is kind of his catch-all, like no weird stuff about weird things, as far as he's
Mm,
concerned.
not in this case. There isn't any magic involved.
Hmm.
is
I'm
this
gonna tell you right now that's a no for Cassie.
Okay.
what about survival?
Survival would also work.
Okay, so that's a 21 survival.
That is
Um,
a 10 insight for Kitlack.
okay. Genevieve, you're going to be caught with inspiration on this. Not inspiration, game mechanic wise, just a bit of inspiration of insanity. If you could find some way to recycle the air, you could just burrow and dig your way there straight up, going underneath the mesas, the spires. That would cut off at least a week's time if you could just go under all of this stuff. You would just have to find a way to refresh the air so that you wouldn't have to pop up every 3 hours.
Genevieve will say
You'd also have to be careful not to dig too deep and fall through to the other side.
we could always go underneath all of the obstacles in the way. All we'd have to really do is figure out something to do with the air. The
Is
only
there a
thing
cave? Oh, go ahead.
the only thing I can think of, I know that some of our uh, villagers used to dive in one of the lakes, and they would use these reeds that would stick up out of the water to gain air. I don't know if we can figure out something similar.
Well, I can't help but wonder, maybe there are cave systems below here. Perhaps docking in a cave and opening up there might be a viable option, but it's hardly a reliable one.
We could also go just below the surface, not too far down, and then maybe just dig up every few hours.
We could periscope for air, right? That could work. I could enlarge the ship while we're free, airing it out, and that would increase the amount of air. And I mean, it's a gas. It would just kind of contract with us when it was done. And it only lasts a minute, but would that should increase the amount of air we have, right?
In theory, I
Would how much would Shade think that that might increase the amount of air we get?
That is an Arcana check.
$21.
21. Let's see. So that, from what you understand of how the enlarged system works, you go, you get a gnome would get to a small gnome would get to a normal sized person. Normal sized person would be as big as a crab car. So a crab car would be as big as, oh, I don't know, um, maybe a small skiff. So based on just the area, it would probably over double the air supply. In more mathematical terms, you would basically get an hour and, let's see, you get 10 hours, so you get 22 hours in total, and then divide that
What
by 3.
size is the crab car?
Large.
And it would go from large to what's the next size up?
Huge.
And huge takes up 10 by 10 versus 5
Huge
by
takes up
5
huge takes up 15 by 15.
versus.
Oh,
So if you do the math that way, it sounds like a lot more.
Hold on, let me check the size. Large, yeah, large to
I can only do
um
that on one person. I don't think I have third level spell.
yeah, but you just do it based on, well,
If you're doubling it in each direction, that's actually 8 times as much air.
that is correct. So that would be 80 hours divided by, well, little more than 80 hours. So we'll make it easy. 90 hours divided by 3.
I mean,
However, it would also be hyper oxygenated. The smallest flame would set everything off.
Yeah. There's not. Well, yeah. I mean, it's still got the same concentration. It's just
You would be compressing it. So
it's
yes,
just
it would be
compressed.
hyper oxygenated. You would,
Fair that it has a drawback. Yes.
yes. Genevieve, did you want to say something?
oh, I was just thinking that there was something I could do, but I could only do it for one of us. Unfortunately, my skills aren't quite strong enough just yet to be able to cast an air bubble around more than one person at a time.
Roll me your Arcana real quick.
Me?
Yes, you.
Okay. Someday my dice will come.
Yeah, I'm hoping this gets fixed by Thursday and Friday. Especially Friday.
Got it. About to start rolling in Discord. Arcana, that's an 8.
An 8?
Wow, we're all pretty good at
That's
Arcana.
that's not good enough right now. But what it does, I will say, with an 8, even if you attach it to one person, you already have one person who doesn't need to breathe. So if you can make it so that a second person doesn't have to breathe, that does increase the air supply for the other two.
Yeah, but
I'll
that
give you that much on an 8.
requires that would require a third level spell slot, and I've only got second level spell slots.
Yeah, air bubble is a second level spell.
Yeah, and I can only cast it on one person.
Yes, what I'm saying is that cuts down the amount of air within the device that's used. So if you say use it on yourself, then instead of 10 hours divided by 3, it's 10 hours divided by 2. So it's 5 hours standard.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on
You can
one
also cast it multiple
cotton
times if you have it.
pick. It's not concentration.
No, it's not.
I
You have
just saw
3 level
that.
2 spell slots?
I have. I do have 3 second level spell slots. However, I already picked my spells for the day, so we would have to wait until tomorrow.
Okay, right now you're moving away from Mistmar ever so slowly, so
So Genevieve will say that. She will say, there is one thing that I can do, and I can create an air bubble around our heads, but I'll have to sleep on it first. I'll need about 8
Oh.
hours to prepare for it.
How long do said air bubbles last?
A full day.
Oh,
24
so you can
hours.
just do it over and over and over again, forever.
On 3 people.
Oh, what a coincidence. That's all we need. Well,
So,
yes, let's do that.
we'll still have to come up for air eventually, but it won't have to be every couple hours.
here's what I'll say. As long as you have the air bubbles up and you keep them up, the 10-hour air supply will not be used. It for every minute that it's down, that'll be counted down off the 10 hours. So in theory, you can use 0 of the 10-hour air supply if you keep that up constantly, Genevieve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the calculations because, so I can cast it 3 times in an 8-hour period. The bubbles last for 24 hours.
That includes a long rest, yes.
So that's 3 long rests. So I could basically have a perpetual motion air bubble supply going on actually all 4 of us using 0 air in this thing.
Oh, Cassie doesn't need to breathe.
And as long
that's
as
true.
nothing happens
I
on
keep
the way
forgetting
there,
about
which I'm
that.
sure it'll be an easy trip.
I forget that Cassie doesn't need to breathe, so yeah. 0 air. Indefinite. Beautiful, but do need to sleep for 8 hours. So if you want to keep going for now, I'll just get some rest in the back of the ship.
There is no back of the ship. You're all in one cabin.
You're there. You're already there.
It is 4 squares.
We
could find a way to tie you to the door. That would be the back of the ship. That's about the best we could do, though.
We could try the enlarge thing while you're resting and just don't make any sparks.
Genevieve's just gonna stretch lengthwise from like side to side, lengthwise.
Why does it feel like
Put some
most
cotton
of the time
in her
she's
ears.
either unconscious or sleeping?
Put some cotton in her ears.
Yeah, that's a fair observation.
Right, so are you going to continue headed towards the plateau, or are you going to turn around and start headed towards...
Do we want to try my enlarged idea just for while we're waiting? I mean...
I don't see any real reason to.
Kitlack, you would be familiar with this. Go ahead and roll me survival or... Oh, I need to look at a character sheet. Survival or nature or even insight. One of the 3.
Probably nature. Let's see. So 16.
You know that if you increase the oxygen, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But these levers are metal, moving on a metal thing. Metal striking metal occasionally causes sparks.
Yes. Pure oxygen, very flammable, like the philostrogen.
Pure oxygen.
Well, we'd want to get the mixture correct. Let's just say
the mixture is exactly correct. It's the same mixture. It's just compacted. But fine, if we don't want to and or need to risk it, then I guess why not? But
So, what direction are you headed in? Are you still headed towards the plateau? Have you stopped for the day? Are you turning around? What are you doing? Are you
How
teaching
late in the
Cassie?
day is it?
I mean, it's always
we
sunny
just
on the
we,
asteroid, but you just woke up
we
like
just
less
woke
than
up.
4 hours ago.
Yeah.
That's fair. Um, where?
I,
Remind me again, because I'm spacing right now. Where did we resolve to go to?
If you're looking at the map, way up there,
Yeah.
and you are
All right.
currently way down here,
That's
and
fine.
the vault for this place is way over here.
All right. So we aren't headed to Crimson Plateau. We're going to Solitari, yeah?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess Kid like would try to get across and under the mountains if possible, to get to the Obsidian Barrens at least. Is that possible with 10 hours of air?
3 hours.
3
Right now, you
hours?
only have 3 hours.
Ew.
It's 10 hours divided by three, because three of you
Gotcha.
are breathing. So that's why I was asking: are you staying put? Are you burrowing for a little bit? Are you turning around and just walking your way back?
Let's find a safe spot to hole up for a moment, and then we can start our journey once we are properly prepared.
The other question I was going to ask is, Kitlak, with Genevieve's plan, you would you would figure out that 24 hours you would still have to sleep, which would mean you would have to stop moving. But if you talk Cassie, who doesn't have to sleep, to drive while you slept, Crabcar could still move. Would you like to teach Cassie how to drive?
Yeah, Kid like absolutely would. He's
So
defensive of
that's
it on principle, but now that he's going to sell the thing, he just wants to be a little more practical.
and
and
that's
be a passenger on the
Yeah, the passenger
spelljammer.
princess,
On
yes.
the spelljammer, he's gonna have to get used to that driving.
He'll be all right
yeah.
as
So
long as he can envision himself as a space captain. That's what he cares about.
You know what? I think she's fine with him being the space captain of the spelljammer.
Sorry, you're
so
trying to say, Mal.
yes. So Cassie doesn't have to sleep, but she does have to go into a powered down mode. Now that can be done when other people are
Awake.
awake.
Yeah.
You could
That's
take
fine. But
shifts, and you could teach everyone. You could teach Shade and.
Don't teach Genevieve.
Yeah.
You want to get where you're going, okay? Genevieve is good at survival, but not at piloting.
But Shay would definitely, yeah, um, volunteer to help in this process.
Okay. Kilak will teach anybody who's interested, and then they could do
yes,
a driving rotation.
I definitely do think that Cassie would be interested.
All right. And with a destination in mind and people being taught to drive, and Genevieve taking a rest, we'll find out how the journey to Sulatar Tower happens. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see everyone again next week. Hopefully, with a more effective playing board.
Mm,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.